At harm. I am Supergirl.
Hey guys, just finished watching Supergirl Season 3, Episode 14, Schott Through the Heat, Scott Through the Heat. This episode was really interesting. It was really cool. We start off with karaoke night, and then the first person singing obviously is Kara, and she's giving this speech to everyone, which was cool enough. And so, but it's just, we've seen Kara sing so many times on this show. Well, actually, technically not on this show. I forget if it was this show, because technically we saw her first episode of The Flash, which was actually the first episode of the crossover last year. We saw her sing. So I'm not sure if she sang really on Supergirl, but she did sing in the Flash Supergirl crossover. So I don't know why they had her sing such a bad song, and like a song like that, she wasn't good. Like, obviously it was on purpose they made her sing good. They had everyone singing bad for this season. I don't know why they didn't have them just singing very well. This cast is very good at singing. And if I'm not mistaken, Mehcad Brooks, Jimmy Olsen, might have been singing one of his songs that he's recently released and type thing. So, which was pretty cool, interesting with that, him singing his own songs. And then we get to see, we find out while he's up there, sees that his father, Toyman, is dead. His mother shows up at the funeral. The coffin ends up blowing up. And then a bunch of gold flying monkeys start attacking the DEO and stuff. And then we find out that John Jones, his father, is losing his memory. He has dementia. Which is interesting to see with that. I liked how that's going to be playing off the whole idea. It was cool seeing, Scott's Wynn's mother, and seeing that relationship dealt with in this story. And I'd hopefully, keep her around a little bit. I mean, I know the actress is, just starting to get really big and stuff. She's in that movie, that Oscar-winning movie and all that stuff. So she's kind of a little bit more places, before. So it's really going to be cool to see if we get to see her come around a little bit. But it was really cool with this, the memory idea with John Jones and his father. I like that idea. I just hope that we don't. It's just cool seeing this legacy actor in the role and stuff, especially since he voiced John Jones in the animated cartoons and stuff. So it's going to be cool to see how long we get to see with him. Maybe we get to play with him a little bit more throughout the rest of the season. Hopefully they can make the memory loss thing, drag it out, make it. So far, I guess if he's already forgetting his grandchildren, I guess it's already going pretty fast. So we'll have to wait and see where we get it, but hopefully we can at least bring him to the end of the season. So we're on episode 14. Let's see how many episodes we're supposed to be getting. IMDb says 23, so another few more episodes. Another 6 episodes before 20, and then 3. So that's it's a lot. So we're another 9 episodes, almost 10 episodes. So that's really going to be cool to see if we get to play with that and see how long we get that continuing on. And throughout this episode, we get a lot of James trying to call Lena, and no answer to that. And after the second time, or I think he calls only like twice actually, and the third time she calls him at the end, but no answer. And then we find out that then there's one point when Wynn and his mother, they're working on the robotic the monkeys that are working. She takes off a piece. She recognizes the logo, and she goes after. She just walks into the room, grabs a gun, and takes off. I mean, oh my god, that was such a dumb scene. Like, just that one moment. It's not locked or anything. Like, all they had to do is show. They established she was smart, because she was able to. The reason why she dated his father, Wynn's father, because she was smart too, and I get that. They established that. So all you had to do was have a little scene, just drag the scene out just a little more, few seconds, with someone just coming out of the weapons door, and her catching the door before it shuts down, or her watching someone key in the pad and be able to see it, and be able to notice it from afar, type thing. Something, instead of her just walking right into it with as if it's a regular door with no locks on it. I get that she's already inside the DEO, but that would be like the president. The president, just because you could get inside of the White House doesn't mean doesn't mean that all the rest of the doors in the White House are completely have no locks on them. I mean, come on, that was just kind of stupid. It was just kind of it was really, 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 really dumb idea. There's just so many little things that they could have done. Her catching the door after someone just comes out of it, at the last second. Her, watching the code and memorizing the code after something from afar, and be able to see it, and get it like that. That would have been a little bit pushing it, to seeing, watching from afar, seeing the code type thing. But with her intelligence, it would have made, a little bit okay sense and stuff. But the little thing, just catching the door just as someone was coming out of it and not noticing, that would have made more sense than just kind of walking right in. You know, no one kind of stopped her. There's not even a lock on the door and a keypad lock or fingerprint lock or something. I don't know. I don't see how she wasn't able to do that. It's something I would have just taken an extra 10 seconds for that scene. That they couldn't just put that in there, and it just kind of threw me out of that scene. It was kind of really annoying. And then we find out the new toy man was actually a prison worker. It was actually just a maintenance girl maintenance woman that was working at the store. Kind of interesting idea the way they were trying to do it. I guess it's kind of like the Joker thing, but since it's been done before, it was kind of okay. But hopefully we don't see her again, because really it wasn't too interesting. It was cool seeing the giant robot that Kara and Mon-El were playing with, and seeing him using that cape type thing. I was like, oh my god, is this going to turn into his cape? And it doesn't actually turn into his cape when he was using that with the dinosaur, but it does tease, he does reveal that later on that he does have a futuristic costume that he hasn't been putting on. So I think that's really going to be cool to see that. And it looks like in next week's episode we do see him in his comic accurate costume, and I literally like that costume. I can't wait to see that. It looks so good in that release photo. If I'm not mistaken, even my dad remembers him saying that as a kid when he grew up reading the Legion and the superheroes and stuff, he really liked Mon-El's costume more than the Superman and stuff. So I think it's a really cool idea to see that. It's going to be cool to see it in action, how it looks. And based on the trailer for next week's episode, it looks like he might even have the kind of the outline for the crest of El, but not necessarily have it because it's not his crest type thing, but just kind of have the outline paying homage to it. I think that's a really interesting idea to putting that. If I'm not mistaken, in the comic books he does have a tiny House of El symbol there, but with him not being from the House of El, it makes no sense for him to have it. But if him being kind of let's say he made that costume when he was in the future and he was paying homage to Supergirl, having the outline of the thing that's kind of faint on his suit, it makes sense. He's not outright kind of becoming, hey, I'm Superman, just like that, but it's something that, when you're up close, you would notice that, oh man, there's that nod to Supergirl type thing, and I think that could kind of be an interesting idea, type thing, and it makes sense where things are going to go with that. So it's really going to be cool to see where things go with Mon-El and Supergirl. Supergirl's kind of over the relationship and stuff, but he kind of reveals that that the third villain thing that they're looking for, the third Reign, is really going to be is the Dark One from setting his stuff up, which is something that I guess something I'm forgetting, and maybe I need to rewatch a few episodes back or something. But there's just stuff that I'm forgetting about how he said that his kid is villain and stuff. So I'm gonna have to check that up and kind of look that into later stuff. But it's really going to be interesting to see where things are going, how setting it up that the third Reign that they're looking for now in this current timeline is also the villain that the Legion of Superheroes are fighting type thing. And I think that's really an interesting idea to play with that, and how Supergirl even says that they'll be dealing with that villain still all the way into the 30th century, so it's going to last like centuries and stuff. That's really going to be really cool to see that, and hopefully this could be an interesting idea, an opportunity for them to send Supergirl over to the 31st century. And I think that could be really cool, seeing what the Legion of Superheroes look like, seeing other characters. Again, one of the characters I really need to see, even if it's just a cameo, whether it's a cameo on a monitor or whatnot, or something, and they'll need to see a cameo of Arm Fall Off Boy. I think that it would just be so funny to have him on here. If you're gonna do, Toy Man, you're gonna do a giant robot dinosaur toy, why would you not do and you're also going to do Mixelplick, why not just give Arm Fall Off Boy a cameo? I think that could be really cool, especially if you could get a cameo for Arm Fall Off Boy, like have like one of the bigger cameos that the Supergirl show could ever have, and then have that be Arm Fall Off Boy. I think that'd be quite funny. Get if he's available, if he's not busy with, I know he's busy with on the other show, but getting Tom Welling to jump on as Arm Fall Off Boy just for a quick cameo, think that could be really cool, and it'd be really fun seeing him on there, because that would be the last person people would expect. It was Tom Welling to play the Arm Fall Off Boy. Although I wish it would be I'd want him to have more of a recurring role and stuff. But the Arm Fall Off Boy would be quite funny, and he'd be the last character you'd expect him to play if he jumped over on Supergirl. So definitely can't wait to see where things are going with this. At the end, again, we find out that Lena Luthor was actually busy throughout this episode working on Samantha Aries and trying to figure out what's going on with her and her blackouts and all that stuff. So that's really going to be cool to play with that in next week's episode. It looks like it's good we're getting into that. It's disappointing, though, that we don't get into this right away, because this episode, although it was good, it was interesting playing with it, Wynn's mother and all that stuff, and his family. It's just kind of the first episode into it after a long break like this. Although we didn't have nothing, we did have Legend of Tomorrow, but if you're not following that show, then you've just had nothing in between, just a long wait, and all we get is a filler episode, essentially. It's not really a filler episode because it builds some character development, but to this overall this season storyline, it's really a filler episode. So I would have switched this around with next week's episode, having the more season central episode now, and then putting the filler episode next week. Or I would also not do freaking super filler episodes because they're just goddamn well annoying. Whatever, it is what it is. So I'm interested to see where things are going with here. I like the idea to see where things are playing with and how things are going to go and how we're going to play with the whole Legion villain being the same villain as right now, and this villain lasting all the way to 30th century. How are we going to do that? What are we going to do now that we know that we are confirmed for season 4 without this villain continuing? Since they said that no, this villain's going to continue forever, so is that it for the rest until season 20? We're all going to be we're going to have the same villain over and over again. How are they going to play with that? How are they going to do that? Are they going to time travel? And it really would be cool to see all that, see some time travel in Supergirl, and going to see this for 31st century, something like that could be quite fun way to maybe go back and get some more. Even if Supergirl just goes a little bit with the Legion and comes back to get some more reinforcements from the Legions and more members, it would be quite cool to see that. So all in all, definitely can't wait to see where things are going with this show, and I really like this episode. I just wish it wasn't a filler episode. So let me know what you think, guys, about this episode in the comments below, and who would you like to see play Arm Fall Off Boy in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
I'm Captain America, here to talk to you about one of the most valuable traits a soldier or student can have.
Subscribing.
Sometimes subscribing is the key to victory. Sometimes it leads to very little, and it seems like it's not worth it. And you wonder why you waited so long for something so disappointing. How many more of these?
You're still here.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Peace.
It's over.